Welcome to the 80th episode of the Carscast Moviecast. Jeff, I have a question for you.
I'm ready.
What is... this one, I don't know if you'll get it, but what is the name for the fingers of a fork? Like, what do they call those little things? The little...
The teeth?
Well, close, actually. Well, it's not that close, but they're called tines. Tines.
So, yeah, that wasn't close. It just started with the same letter.
Started with a T, yeah.
That's just like saying alliteration makes something close.
Yep. But I had no idea that they were called that. I don't think anyone knows that besides whoever made this question.
No, yeah.
But yeah, they're called tines. So you're in a new background today. We're just
yeah, I am in a new background.
For any of the
I also have I'm like, I don't know. I guess I could probably just leave this here. It's close enough. Yeah, this is like the spare bedroom at my parents' house.
Right. It reminds me of like a year ago when you used to travel around Europe and it was a different background every week.
Yeah, except for this might be the background I stick with for a while.
Okay. New official background.
It's like a really sad trip where I just don't move.
I'm in a new background too. I'm back in Minnesota, which is fancy.
The bookshelf thing is fancy.
Yeah,
it's
you know
a
what?
Tree.
I've had this here ever since, like, this has been there for the past, like, year. And for some reason, it's like in my new video where I had a sponsorship, everyone was pointing out the bookcase. They were like, awesome bookcase. I'm like, that thing has been there since forever. Why is everyone now noticing?
It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, yeah. I was bummed because it's like, what happened to me, I finally got the treatment, and you'll see it when you move out of college. Not you, but like or move out of high school. But my parents like redid my room when I came home from school one week, and it was because this used to be like orange walls. It used to be hideous,
right?
But it had so much personality. And then I came home and all the posters were gone. But that was the only thing I really approved of was that new. I was like, that's a nice addition. That
and whenever they sell this house, people are gonna buy it. They're gonna see this bookshelf and be like, I want this.
Yeah,
this is a room.
I wonder, like, and this is obviously not going to happen, but I wonder, like, if anyone has moved into either of my two past apartments and been like, oh my god, this is where that YouTube guy used to
I think the chances of that happening are very slim.
So slim, yeah.
Especially because all of the distinguishing features, like the stuff you had on the walls, is not there.
Yeah.
So honestly, they would have to have been like a stalker
fan, yeah,
for them to be able to notice that, I think.
Yeah. See, I guess the one before my last one was a little bit noticeable. I had a huge room that year. I really do miss that room. It was a good time, but what are you going to do? Yeah. How's your week been, Jeff?
That just really just like petered off at the end. It's like, yeah, I missed that room, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I checked and I had a text and I was like, oh, I guess I'll just keep talking about the room. But yeah, you've had a good week.
I mean, yeah, it's been a week for sure. Yeah,
definitely been a week.
Yeah, I finally finished the meme of the month. What happened was I haven't done some parts of Premiere in so long that I forgot about using a timeline as like your source monitor.
Yeah.
So I started resizing parts of the frame like manually for each clip, and then I'm like, wait a second, I can just go and use this whole source thing as the feed and then just do it. Yeah, and then I did that and it took like 2 seconds.
Sweet. Man. I told you I used to be like a big Final Cut Pro guy. But yeah, Premiere, it's kind of intimidating, but once you get the hang of it, it is a great software.
Final Cut Pro, though, the name of it kind of makes it seem very like important.
Yeah, like the Final Cut Pro.
And then Avid kind of just makes you, I don't know, it just makes it seem like you're too eager to edit something.
I know.
You're like, oh, I'm an avid editor.
Which is
I love editing.
The opposite of how I feel when I'm editing in that software. I dread opening it anytime I have to.
Yeah. I'm like, why are there so many tools where you have to like drag it across the timeline? And
right.
It's like, I don't like this.
It's impossible to do anything. I have some exciting. Well, I get okay, yeah. So I've had like this feature idea and like deciding if like I should do it or not or if it's like worth it. And I've just been like kind of like casually outlining like what it would be. And this week I started writing it and it's going really well. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna write the damn thing and see where it goes.
Yeah. What's do you have any information about it that you want to share?
It is like it's like a 3-part thing. It's like 3 different stories, but they all happen at like one park. But they're like 3 different pairs of people, and they all kind of connect in a way. But it's yeah.
So it's kind of like extrapolating from rhubarb into like a larger premise.
Right. Yeah. Same like anthology type of thing.
Yeah. You're a big anthology guy.
I love anthologies. They're like my favorite kind of movies.
You're someone who watches a movie and then when some random character walks down the street, you're like, "What? We should start following that guy."
I'm someone where I watch 3 different short films and I'm like, no, but what if we put them all together? And that's
What if all these took place in the same city on the same day?
Like it doesn't even have to be a good movie. If it has that kind of thing going for it, I'm like, this is awesome. This is great.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Can't argue with that. Unless I read the script and I don't like it, then I can argue.
Then
but as of now, I think it's a great idea.
I really like this idea. It's kind of hard because it's like it'll be a lot of dialogue, and I don't think I'm good at that. I think I'm really bad at that, which is why Rhubarb didn't have like any dialogue. So
yeah, well, to be fair, and this is getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, your dialogue can't be any worse than Guns Akimbo.
Jeff, I am so excited to talk about this. It is, but we are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, no, that was just a little teaser for a few minutes.
A little teaser for, yeah. Oh my God. Should we announce like the hat thing right now?
Yes.
Get it out of the way. The hats are now available to purchase if you're a patron. Patron. I don't know why I said it so weird.
Yeah. You're a patron, but kind of in the American South.
We just wanted to do a little thank you to all the patrons. By putting them out a little bit early for you guys.
So that should be 2 weeks.
2-ish weeks, yeah. 2 weeks
of patron exclusive ability to purchase, and then after that we're gonna release them for everyone to purchase. And yeah, I have boxes on the way. And sometime next week I will be shipping out the first batch of orders.
Yep. So be out on the lookout for that.
And by next week, I mean this week, because this is coming out on Monday.
Yeah.
So by Friday of the week this comes out is when the first batch will be shipped.
Yeah. Doing a lot of math in my head.
Because I'm manually shipping them myself from Florida.
Yeah. Yep. Jeff is putting in a lot of work. Every hat you get will be personally touched by Jeff in a safe way. Well,
don't say it like that.
Not the year to say that.
But not in a weird way.
Not in a weird way. No, he'll just be like, he's gonna put them in the box. Yeah. They'll be signed with
like 7, except I'm sending you a hat instead of a severed head.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What's in the box?
Like, what's in the box? It's a hat.
A hat. If you'd like to get in on some early access to the hats, go to patreon.com/carscast. And there'll be updates on this within the next few weeks, and we'll let you guys know when they're available for the public.
All right. Real quick, just ignore that I'm about to take a drink out of another comically large drink.
So, oh my God. That one's big. That thing's bigger than your head, Jeff. It's
the same thing I had at the park.
That'll absolutely be the thumbnail pic for this episode. It's just, I might even Photoshop the bottle a little bit bigger just to drive that point home.
Here, wait, I'll like put it close to the camera so it looks even bigger.
Now it just looks like a sponsorship. It's podcast.
The worst by share because it's being held sideways. All you see is just like red.
What is that drink, by the way? Unless you already said it and I missed it.
It's a cold brew cranberry lemonade. So it's cranberry lemonade mixed with cold brew. Now the thing is, it expired a couple weeks ago, so that's why I'm like not gonna. Once I open it, I'm like not gonna keep pouring it into someone. So that's why I'm drinking it from the thing. Because obviously this is not a container it's built to be drank from, and that's becoming very apparent because every time I drink it, it like kind of spills on me.
no matter what it is and what I'm drinking from, and I don't know if you've noticed this about me, but I always spill whatever drink it is. I don't know what it is about my mouth, but I don't know how to drink anything.
Yeah, you could say that you're built to spill. That's a 90s alternative
I was going to say, like, I don't even know what you're referencing, but...
Yeah, my old boss, that was, like, his favorite band, because he's in his, like, late 40s.
What is your favorite 90s band, while we're on that topic?
Magnetic Fields.
Magnetic Fields. Okay, I don't even know. I didn't know they were a 90s band.
Full stop. So, yeah, they released most of their stuff in the 90s.
Okay.
What about you?
Oh, man. I actually didn't come prepared, even though I asked that.
Okay, I'll answer for you. Oasis.
Yep. How did you know? That's exactly... Yeah. I guess if you count them as a band, I'd say A Tribe Called Quest is my favorite 90s group. I think they're a band. It's multiple people.
Yeah, I think
making
that
music.
Counts.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess that's all we have to talk about. For the intro. Yeah, I guess we'll signing off.
We had one sentence on Guns Akimbo. The dialogue is bad.
Dialogue is bad. But I guess we'll get into...
Letterboxd review. That's the whole podcast.
We'll get into the movie. Today we're talking about Guns Akimbo. This is a 2019 action comedy directed by Jason Lee Howden. It is about...
It's supposed to be a comedy?
Oh yeah. The synopsis reads, Miles is a video game developer who inadvertently becomes the next participant in a real-life deathmatch that streams online. While Miles soon excels at running away from everything, that won't help him outlast Nyx, a killer at the top of her game. This synopsis leaves out a very important part of the plot.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's
honestly,
that
yeah, you say it.
Someone nails guns to his hands. And he can't take them off. That's
literally okay. I would say that 10 minutes of this film is just him trying to pick up things with his gun hands.
Yeah.
It's like him trying to like put on pants, him trying to pick up his cell phone, him trying to open doors,
him trying to pee. Which we'll talk about that. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is the worst movie we've watched on this podcast. Maybe not the worst, but I hated this movie.
This movie kind of sucks. So when I didn't even know that it was trying to be a comedy. I think it was trying to be a comedy in the sense that it's just the campiest film ever made.
It is insanely campy.
So I guess that like for them, comedy is just writing bad dialogue. Yeah. Because this film suffers from like the thing that I always think of where all of the characters sound like it's very obvious they were written by like one person.
Yeah.
Just because the film just is a singular voice and it's just weird guy who tries to, I don't even know how to describe it, but even like Daniel Radcliffe's character is just a guy who's kind of annoying, but he's also like trying to be this weird in the moment introspective guy where he's like pointing out like stuff about like social media and I don't know. That was also weird where it tried to like make this vague point on like how social media was making us all evil or something.
It's the dumbest point. Yeah.
It's like, people wouldn't go and try to kill each other on the internet if no one watched it.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, technically true.
That's the thing. I don't have a problem with campy movies. I love camp. I don't know why this doesn't work at all. I did not like the campiness of this. It was just very obnoxious, and I think a lot of it has to do with like what you're saying in that it feels like it thinks it's above the viewer and has this like big like something to say about the internet and like trolls and like Reddit, and it just comes across as a guy on Reddit who thinks he knows way more than everyone else, and it's just so cringy. Yeah. Like the whole thing feels written by a computer or just someone who spends too much time on the internet and base their entire personality on it.
There was even one of those classic near the end of the film scenes where Daniel Radcliffe turns to a camera and yells at everyone watching about like how they're bad, and it's just
it's so the thing is, it's like I saw after watching it, like, this doesn't have the worst reviews. Like, there are people that really like it, and there is some stuff in here to appreciate.
Yeah,
about
I think
it.
some of the action sequences were pretty well done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's heavily stylized. Like, every single scene is, like, two very bright colors.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a lot of pink and
Like, blue
and red and yellow. And like, I'm genuinely impressed by some of the camera movements here, even in scenes that, like, I like how it made parts of movies that typically aren't exciting or action-packed, like, still pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, like the normal
specifically
parts
the
of
first 20
films
minutes
where someone's trying to pee while they have guns attached to their hands.
Yeah.
Like, normally that's a boring scene.
I thought it was all so cringy, and as cool as I wanted to think it was, I thought it was just lame, and it gets really old really fast is another thing. I think a huge part of, like, campiness and, like, this kind of, like, just absurd, excessive amount of action and coolness, if you want to call it that. It's cool when there's, like, a payoff to it, or if it works as a payoff. Like, Edgar Wright does it super well. This feels like it's trying to be Scott Pilgrim in some parts.
It does, actually, yeah.
With all, like, the video game references and, like, oh, this movie's different. But the whole thing has this one tone that never really progresses or leaves you room to build up and then actually feel different ever. So it just all feels one-noted, and that one note is corny as hell.
Exactly like what I wrote down when I was watching this. I'm like, the entire first, like, 80% of the film just feels like one long chase scene.
A chase scene that does not work. It doesn't
No.
build or, like, leave you on the edge of your seat or feel suspenseful. It just flashes a bunch of colors and cuts really fast and, like, zooms in.
Right.
And that's not enough. It has no sense of pace at all.
No, it's because, especially, that Daniel Radcliffe's not going to die.
No.
Like, especially that early in the film, like, maybe, he will in the last, like, bit, but the whole thing's like, oh, he's getting shot at, but somehow this person who hits headshots 100 times in a row on random people can't shoot Daniel Radcliffe once.
It also just didn't make sense sometimes.
Okay, the logic of the film where the police officer, they just threw in, like, oh, yeah, that Nix is my daughter. Like, what?
Oh, yeah. What?
Seems a bit coincidental.
Man.
Also, it doesn't feel like they would let the person whose daughter has murdered about 1,000 people be on the case to catch the daughter.
Yeah.
I just feel like there might be a bit of, like, a moral, issue with that.
What did you think of Daniel Radcliffe in this movie?
It was weird.
It was weird. Yeah. I usually kind of I like Daniel Radcliffe because I think he can do whatever he wants now. And that comes out in his performances. He's like so self-aware of the things he does. Like Swiss Army Man, the Playmobil movie, he did that and just kind of owned up to the shittiness. And this also applies to that, I think.
He obviously knew this was a very campy film. That was just him getting to run around and shoot people. But I just don't think it plays in the way that it's supposed to. Yeah.
He's not a character that I want to watch,
Right.
Like he's got this grossness to him that I don't like that kind of guy in real life.
Very
it's like
dirty
why
in the entire film.
He's so dirty. There's like shots of him like obviously the hands with the guns, but just like his
Yeah.
I was going to say I don't like looking at his hands, but most of the time they look pretty gross because of the guns, but
they're even like cuz there's a lot of exposition in the dialogue in this film. They have to like explain everything cuz nothing makes sense. But part of that was even emphasizing they're like, his underwear is dirty. You didn't need to tell me that.
You didn't need to,
Like
I saw too much of Daniel Radcliffe's body and his just his pale hairy skin. I didn't want to look at it anymore. I didn't know this before watching this, but apparently there's like a lot of controversy with the director of this and that he's like a racist troll online. In that there was this thing that happened on Twitter back in February, and I actually remember hearing about this where I don't remember her name, but she was associated with Much Ado About Cinema, which is this Twitter page / like online movie blog, and some like racist screenshots that she was a part of came up, and everyone a part of the publication like left. All the writers were like, hey, I'm just not associated with this anymore. And it was like this big thing on film Twitter. And this man, for absolutely no reason, he did not have to be a part of this. He came on Twitter and was like, she did nothing wrong. Like, this was all these screenshots. They're like, it was just clearly a joke when it wasn't. And everyone was like, why are you speaking on this right now?
Uh-huh.
He's like, cancel culture has gone too far and stuff like that. And he's just, it all matches up is what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, it does play with someone who has never had like a conversation in their life is what this film feels like.
Yeah, it's like absolutely a movie made by someone who thinks cancel culture has gone too far.
Someone in my like MFA program, their thesis film, they're the person who I'm not gonna like say their name obviously, but they're the person who kind of feels like how you're describing this director, and their film was honestly kind of like this film.
Oh my god.
Obviously done way worse because they're bad at making films. But it was just a film about like with like a couple fight scenes that with tons of violence and like really stale dialogue because this person like doesn't know how to communicate with people.
Yeah.
And it really feels like the same type of person made this film.
Yeah. That is just oh my god. There are a lot of film students like that and a lot of just aspiring directors that think they watch like one Edgar Wright film or one Gaspar Noé movie and they think that like the way to get a viewer's attention and to put people into the movie is just by like assaulting the senses and like being like, look at all these cuts and look at how crazy this camera is. It's like, you don't just do that stuff. It has to be like controlled and you have to you have to like hold the viewer's hand kind of while you do it and make it so it works and have some rhythm to it. And they never do.
There's nothing human about this film.
No, exactly.
I didn't feel a single real emotion. Like when people are just getting shot in the head like 10 times a minute.
Right.
Like, I don't care about any of this.
Exactly.
I don't care about any of the characters. His relationship with his ex-girlfriend was weird. I didn't care about that.
Absolutely
that didn't feel like a real thing.
I just straight up didn't care about Daniel Radcliffe because once again, like most unlikable dude, I'm like, I don't care about a video game developer who trolls people online. What is that protagonist? Let alone his love interests.
Yeah, I would say that the only relationship that actually felt like a genuine thing in this film was Daniel Radcliffe and his coworker.
Yeah. I didn't mind the coworker.
Yeah, the coworker was the best part of the film. And then, of course, they had to kill him. I'm ruining that, but I don't care. You don't want to watch this film. And if you do, that's not going to ruin anything. There's not really... This is more of just, like, watching things get shot. There's not really...
Yeah.
Mentally, there's not a lot happening while you watch this film.
Yeah.
You're just like, colors.
Right. Guns. Oh, guns on hands.
Akimbo.
Whoa.
That's probably why they named the film that. It's just because like that's what your brain is doing. It's like, wait, guns? Akimbo?
Akimbo. Yeah, this director has done one other movie, and it's called Deathgasm. And that one apparently I've actually heard about it. Apparently that one's not that bad. The synopsis to that reads: two teenage boys unwittingly summon an ancient evil entity known as the Blind One by delving into black magic while trying to escape their mundane lives. Sounds like it would be just as campy.
Yeah.
But from what I've read, like some people actually really like it.
Why is it called Deathgasm though?
No idea why it's called Deathgasm.
The only way they can kill him is by forcing him to have an orgasm. I mean, based off Guns Akimbo, that would be my guess as to what the plot of that film is.
Because, okay, the poster for this movie is like this. It's like the rock and roll sign, but these two fingers are cut off. So it's like they're trying to do this, but these are just cut off. So
so I'm going to be honest. I've never seen Suicide Squad, but this film feels like what I feel like Suicide Squad is like.
I've also never seen Suicide Squad. We should watch Suicide Squad sometime. And I agree. Just the whole, like, edgy, cool, like, the main characters are villains type of energy. Also, I would just like to point out that the first photo that pops up for this director when you Google him is him in a fedora, which just it's all adding up. The thing is, it's like, for as bad as this was, we knew it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
Like, we went into it knowing, like, Daniel Radcliffe with guns for hands. Like, it's not going to be a great movie. And I knew it would be pretty campy. But I thought it would be more entertaining than it was.
Like, obviously it was self-aware and that it was still very campy, but it still thought that you could take part of it seriously.
Yeah.
And no, you can't.
A lot of it, as unlikable as the character clearly is, this movie desperately wants you to kind of see things through his eyes and be like, step into his twisted mind. And it's like, no, I don't. There's nothing to empathize with here.
Yeah.
Which makes it hard to be at all entertained.
They also never even showed us the mobile game that he was a developer for.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the squirrel game. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, trust us. He works for a mobile game.
This sounds kind of inconsiderate as someone who's not a app developer. But I'm just curious, like, what his job entails. Because it's like they made the game, right?
Yeah.
And they got the what is there to do now? What does he do at work? Obviously, there's an answer to that. They should have
made this more Scott Pilgrim-y, and, like, you know how at Scott Pilgrim there's, like, more video game stuff that happens. It should have been, like, some squirrel-related stuff. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Somehow incorporate the squirrel game into this film. Like, he has to shoot the squirrel. With his gun hands. Do you feel bad? I think this is the first New Zealander film that we've watched for this podcast. I feel like we are doing an injustice to New Zealand film.
Yeah, I know. Right. Well, Jojo
so, like,
Rabbit
What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah,
was that all in New Zealand or no?
Maybe. I'm actually unsure. I'm gonna look up because we may have, without realizing it, New Zealand. Did we watch? We didn't watch What We Do in the Shadows.
No, I just watched it a while ago. I mean, Lord of the Rings was shot in New Zealand, so
that counts. Yeah.
There you go.
Rock on.
Wait, I can't even do that. What? Oh, there we go.
Wait, really? There we go. I was like, what?
I feel like
doing? I do it.
I think I just stuck my pinky up in the air. Let's see. Do I have any other thought? Do you have any other thoughts on this?
Yeah, I don't know. I just was really bored by it, and I think that's the worst thing you could like experience with a movie like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like the ending was fine because that's when stuff actually happened.
Yeah.
But the chase scene, it wasn't interesting because I knew nothing was going to happen. Like, it couldn't happen by like what type of movie this was.
Also, when we like think about the concept of just what if you got guns nailed to your hands?
Yeah.
This was such a predictable, I guess, or uninspired approach to that. Like, it could have been so funny. Like you said, like the squirrel thing could have been a thing or something like.
Don't know if Guns for Hands is that good of a concept for a feature-length film.
No.
Because there's like 2 jokes you can really play, and they did the one with the cops. You were like, oh, like, help me. Oh, no, my guns are pointing up in the sky.
Yeah.
Then they're like, drop the gun. And he's like, I can. They're nailed to my hands.
They're nailed to my hands. I got guns for hands. Yeah.
That's really the one joke.
I didn't like almost anything about it. I don't know if I'd give this the lowest score I can, but it's down there. Do you think it's better than... It's weird to compare them. Do you think this is better than Kazam?
I think it's better than Kazam, only because Kazam was such a sellout of a film.
Yeah, that's...
Kazam was just trying to get you to buy, like, Shaq action figures, where this was just kind of knew what it was doing, where it was campy, it was just not interesting. So I would say that this is at least better than Kazam. This was more watchable to me, where I didn't have to watch the worst child actor of all time. Actually, we watched Daniel Radcliffe, who was one of the best child actors.
Do you think he is? I'm trying to think of other famous... Miley Cyrus, I guess.
Shirley Temple,
definitely.
But I think that Daniel Radcliffe, probably just because the population of the world is so much more, and it's much more globalized with, where every country knows about Harry Potter. So I think Daniel Radcliffe might have been the most famous child actor of all time.
You know what? Yeah, I think I agree, because I'm looking at other famous child actors, and he definitely is. Like, the top one is Macaulay Culkin, which it's like, I get that. I think he's up there, but also he's not like Daniel Radcliffe famous.
No.
Yeah, and then they have all the Stranger Things kids.
Yeah, I don't think Ben Wolfhard's more famous than Daniel Radcliffe. Get out of here,
Yeah,
Karsten.
okay.
Which name do you think is cooler, Finn Wolfhard or Daniel Radcliffe?
Finn Wolfhard. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Finn
100%.
Wolfhard? Are you out of your
on.
mind? That's an insane name. We don't talk about that enough. Finn Wolfhard, I've always liked him. I think he's a great guy. Just in case he's listening to this. He is friends with Wyatt, so you never know.
Okay, Wyatt Olaf is a cool name too.
Wyatt Olaf is an
It sounds like a
awesome
sheriff name for sure, like a old Wild West name.
Right.
Like Wyatt Earp. It's
Hey,
really
Jeff-
the only other famous Wyatt.
Wait, famous Wyatts. I'm looking this up. Jeff Borslow is a kind of cool name.
It's not. Wyatt Olaf, like for some reason, has the feeling of like a palindrome.
Uh-huh.
Just because Olaf just feels like it's backwards.
Right, yeah. You know what?
Clearly not, but
I'm going to go to famous birthdays. I don't know if you're familiar with this website. They just have famous birthdays, but you can look up by name, like the most famous. Wow. Okay, so yeah, I searched Wyatt, and he is number 1 in the Wyatts.
yeah. There you go.
Number 1, first name Wyatt. Number 2, but I don't think I'm on this. There's a lot of YouTubers on this. I'm going to search Karsten Runquist.
Oh, you have to be high. You might be number 1 Karsten. I don't know.
I know, that's what I'm saying. There's no other Karstens, and also I'm not on this.
Although there might be a lot of Karstens in Scandinavia.
They're only last name Karstens. Gemma Karsten is a model. She's also 12 years old. What is this website? That's the thing. I feel like I should be on here.
You are less famous than a 12-year-old model.
I'm just gonna look up where Daniel Radcliffe sits in fame.
It's got to be high. I mean,
He's the 4th most famous 31-year-old. Also, the most famous 31-year-old is it's Chris Brown, the pop singer. Number 2 is
Right.
Markiplier, YouTube star, then Lily Singh.
okay, Markiplier is not more famous than Daniel Radcliffe.
No, he's absolutely not. He's totally
Like, just because imagine every subscriber to Markiplier, they've all heard of Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe is the 9th most popular movie actor of all time. And I went to check who the others are. And number 1 is Tom Holland
What?
from Spider-Man. That's not at all true. Number 2 is Zac Efron. Number 3 is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, which I guess I can see. I
That
think
one
Dwayne-
actually tracks. With
Yeah.
the number. Who wrote that? Tom
Yeah.
Holland?
Leo is at number 6. I always looked at, and I don't know if you agree with me, I always looked at Leonardo DiCaprio as the most famous actor.
I think Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, too.
I think Brad Pitt is who I would say, or George Clooney.
I don't know. I think I am comfortable saying the top 3 are Leo, Tom, and Brad.
Tom Holland?
Yeah. Tom Cruise, Tom Holland, same people. Leonardo DiCaprio is the most famous 45-year-old. So he's got that going for him.
Nice.
This is fun. I like going on famous birthdays. Anyways.
Who has your, like, who's the most famous person with your birthday?
October. Oh, it's probably Eminem. I know I share a birthday with Eminem. Yep. Eminem's number
Nice.
1. Followed by a 1-year-old. What?
Oh, what?
There's a 1... Jeff, you're never going to believe this. There is a 1-year-old at number 3, Aliyah McBroom. Social
Who's
media
that?
personality who was born into stardom thanks to her parents' wildly popular Ace Family YouTube channel. What the fuck? This baby's beating me. God, it's so funny. She has a headshot and everything.
Oh my god.
Anyways, sorry. I wish I could share
Yeah.
my screen, but it's not worth it.
When we finish this episode, you're just going to go back on this website.
Her personal Instagram account was created in October 2018, just 2 weeks after she was born.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up.
I hate those family YouTube channels that are like, because it's like none of those babies are consenting to being seen by millions of people online. It's like, imagine growing up and being like,
I don't understand who watches those channels.
That's what I'm saying. They're really successful. They're like some of the biggest channels on YouTube, and they're just the worst content.
You should do one with your family. It's just like,
it's my dad.
it's just like a bunch of cameras set up around your dinner table, and it just like cuts between them while you're eating dinner.
It's just like a 30-minute shot of my dad asleep watching James Bond.
Dude, monetize that. That 30-minute video is gonna be big.
Yeah, I could make some serious cash on that. One last thing on this website. most famous. I want to see who the most famous person ever is. Charlie D'Amelio, the TikTok star. She's number one. Mm-hmm. So I don't know I don't know how much I rely on this website here. What would you give Guns Akimbo?
This is the best segue I've ever heard. The thing is that it's really bad, but it's not the worst film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I also just didn't like it. I'm never gonna watch it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe like, it's like I kind of want to say 2.
Yeah. I think that's what I would give it to. Yeah. I gave it a 2 out of. Well, I gave it a 1 star out of 5, which I guess is a 2, counting the half stars.
I mean, I was talking about out of 5.
Oh, a 2 out of. Okay.
Why would I have just changed?
I don't know.
Been out of 5.
We've always been out of 5. I don't know what I'm. Oh God. Sorry. Famous birthdays.
I thought like between 1.5 and 2, but it's like maybe 1.5.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I will never rewatch it.
There's so many better films that are trying to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Really, any action film is better than this because this film is not good.
What time of day would you give it?
4:30 a.m. So I would be asleep.
Yes. Yeah, no one can watch it. It's just the worst time to watch. It's up there right next to those shitty infomercials.
Unless if you have like a job where you have to wake up early, then I'm just pretty much forcing you to wake up to watch this movie. It's like this is the first thing you want to watch when you get up in the day.
Cool. Well, that's Guns.
It probably would wake you up, to be fair.
Yeah, the first like 20 minutes, I'd say, and then after that,
gunshots.
Right.
Be
like,
loud.
oh, he's got guns for hands. Wow.
Oh, he's trying to pee. Here's a totally necessary shot of his genitals.
Was that
trying to?
That wasn't his real penis, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think
it looked like Play-Doh.
It looked pretty fake, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Well, we might as well move on to questions. These come from the Carscast subreddit. If you'd like to get in on the fun, head over there. We got memes. We got questions. What more could you ask for? Probably a lot.
Probably a lot more than that, yeah.
This first one comes from Renata Reddit, and it is, I want Jeff to talk about sports. So, Jeff, what soccer team do you support? And Karsten, how have you been swimming lately? Take it away, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been a fan of Liverpool in England for like 15 years. Yeah, I mean, they're good now. I watched them for a lot of years when they were pretty bad. They brought in some new players, like a Portuguese guy, and then also actually interestingly, a Brazilian who his parents were Brazilian, but he was born in Italy and he plays for Spain.
That's a lot of different.
And recently they bought him from a German team.
Wow.
So the guy speaks like 5 languages. It's crazy.
I kind of want to get into soccer some more.
It's fun when you get out of the mindset of expecting like a goal.
Yeah.
You have to kind of understand what you're watching in terms of build-up play, because the thing that gets you excited is the possession and just aesthetically pleasing stuff happening rather than the actual score of the game, because on average there's like 2 to 3 goals a game.
Yeah.
But unlike some sports like NFL football, where the ball's only in play for like 7 minutes over the course of 3 hours, the games are like nice because they take less than 2 hours from start to finish, including halftime, and the ball's in play the entire time.
Yeah. There's a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
And you don't lose it after like one small
Exactly.
thing. To answer that question, I have not been swimming lately. Last time I swam was in LA. We had our own like personal pool, and I had to wait so long for them to fix the pool, and then they fixed the pool, swam for 2 weeks, and then they shut it down because of COVID. And I was like, all right.
What was broken?
I don't know. I know if someone poops in the pool or throws up in the pool, it's a disaster. I remember there was I had a swim meet in high school. I'm not going to say his name, but there was a guy on our team. He was the captain. We didn't want to be at the swim meet at all. Like, everyone was in a shitty mood. It was Saturday morning. So during the warm-up, it was this huge, like, 12-team invitational at this giant high school, packed bleachers. He didn't want to be there, so he shat in the pool, and they canceled the meet. It was a big-ass meet. What he did is, it was warm-up. So there was a lot of swimmers in the pool, and he just shat just a little bit and, like, poked it out of his suit. And he let everybody know in our lane. He's like, listen, this just happened. You guys need to get out. And I was like, okay. And then he went and told the coach, he's like, hey, I think someone shat in the pool. And she was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then she told the announcer, and the announcer was like, everybody get out. And everyone went home. And yeah, they canceled the meet altogether.
And then did you enjoy your Saturday?
Yeah. Yeah. It was actually amazing because it's like I just drove home and watched some TV. Yeah. The coach was pissed.
Okay. I can't believe you've never told that story before.
It's one of my favorite stories. But yeah, I'm obviously not going to say the guy's name. I imagine it'd get.
I mean, it's not illegal.
It's not illegal, but you know, they track him down. They arrest him.
They're like, yeah, it's statute of limitations. 10 years for this, buddy. You're still
the poopatrator.
We finally got you.
So I haven't been swimming lately, but my main way of working out is biking. So yeah. This next one comes from Shadow Whispers. It is, during what movies have you fallen asleep?
It was Master of Disguise, I think is called. It's the Dana Carvey movie where he is the master of disguise.
And he put you to sleep.
Yeah, I just fell asleep. I don't know if I don't remember if the movie was boring or I was just tired, but I did fall asleep during that.
Understood.
Probably the year like 2004.
Mine is On the Rocks. I just watched it this week. It's the new Sofia Coppola movie starring Bill Murray and Rashida Jones.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad. Well, you know what? I'm still going to tell people to seek it out if they were excited for it, cuz I don't think it's like awful, but it's just very stale, and I was tired and
I saw the trailer for it.
Yeah.
And my parents were next to me. I turned to them. I'm like, that looks kind of bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, because the trailer had nothing interesting. It was just the most generic trailer of all time.
It's got like the same. It's about as interesting as like when you go home to spend time with your family and they don't do anything. And you're like, this is cozy. I'm comfortable. Like, I feel safe.
Right.
Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, there's no conflict.
But I'm so bored. Yeah. It's like it's not bad. Everything seems fine. And that's the issue. It's just so stale.
Right. When I come home, I just got to spice it up by creating some conflict.
Yeah. Got to shit in the pool, the family pool. Yeah, we have one more, and it is from Darth Abe. We're low on questions this week, so this isn't a very good question, but it's, who do you think would win?
Just throwing Darth Abe under the bus. You're like, yeah, we're going to answer this question even though it sucks. Thanks for the question, Darth Abe.
Thank you, Darth Abe. This is the worst question we have this week. Who do you think would win in a fight between a Jeff-sized mantis and a Karsten-sized ostrich?
A Jeff-sized mantis or a Karsten?
The ostrich would just be slightly smaller than its usual.
The mantis.
I mean, I'm not that tall, but like, mantis would be giant.
Right.
Probably a mantis, right?
I don't know. I don't know if I can mentally picture how like a bug thorax, like the rigidity of a bug, if it was that big, because obviously when they're that tiny, you could just squish a bug. But if it's over 6 feet tall, I don't know if that would make it very rigid and the ostrich couldn't just bite it. That's the thing. That's actually a really difficult question. I'm not saying it's a good question.
The ostrich, you have to understand, ostriches are actually very violent. They have giant legs, they can kick, they're very fast, and they smack things with their heads. I know this because I have a whole book on ostriches somewhere in this room.
And a whole song.
And a whole song that no one's ever going to hear. But yeah, so I actually do think the ostrich would beat the mantis. I think one swipe and the mantis will fall down.
I agree. Also, mantids, which is one of the acceptable plurals of mantis.
Okay.
It's mantises or mantids. They're equally acceptable, which I learned when I posted my mantis song on the mantids subreddit. They're stupid.
Yeah?
Because they're bugs. Like, I don't think that just because they become gigantic, they get smarter. So I don't think they would even know how to, like, attack an ostrich. So I'm going ostrich.
And I'm not saying ostriches are smart, because, bird brain is a thing that people say. And ostriches are birds.
Okay, did you read the new research that came out about crows today?
Why would I? But go ahead.
So apparently crows have this second level of knowledge that humans have, where they are able to analyze their own knowledge. Okay. So they know what they don't know.
That's interesting.
It's like this introspectiveness that crows apparently have.
That's actually like super. I feel like that's pretty advanced for an animal. Also, how did they figure that out?
I didn't read how they figured it out. I just read the results. I'm results oriented.
All right.
But apparently, like their brains and some other birds, I guess like some kind of photons or something are more tightly compact. So even though their brains are very small, that gives them a greater thinking capacity than if a human had that size brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, apparently it's crows, humans, and capuchin monkeys are the only 3 things they've found that have that level of thinking.
That's exciting because it's like who knows how many other animals are like that. Definitely not a mantis. I'm gonna go on record and say
no, mantises are not smart.
They have no idea what's going on. They're just a mantis.
I mean, they mate and then eat the guy that they mated with.
Yeah. Jeff, I never told you on I'd stuck your actually I may have told you this. I'll say it again though. I stuck your song in my playlist, my summer playlist, and we made it like a jumbo playlist for my drive to my cabin, and your song came on out of nowhere on shuffle, and we just kind of sat in silence and listened to it. It was really funny because we were like 7 hours deep at that point, and we were just not saying anything, listening to "I'm Just a Mantis," and then I was like, "Wait, that was Jeff's song." And
it blended so well with the rest of the playlist.
It really did, yeah. Kind of just faded in and out.
I guess it's time for do we read a review now? Is that what happens?
I was just about to say, yeah, we should do the wrap up. This starts by us reading a review. We'd like to encourage you guys to leave some reviews. We love hearing what you guys have to say about the podcast.
Unless it's mean.
This one comes from Ragged Happy Smurf. Subject line, "It's great." 5 stars, and it reads, "This is my favorite movie podcast and the only movie podcast I listen to."
I'll
take it, right?
What I'm going to say about that is I think that you don't like movie podcasts. I think is what it is.
Because this is a movie podcast. It's the Carscast Movie Cast, but this is, it's more, today was more of the Famous Birthdays podcast than it was movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got some faming up to do to catch up to that 1-year-old.
Yeah, clearly I don't know. I'm not that famous. But the review continues to read, "Talk about the secret life of Walter Mitty."
I mean, I do like that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Ben Stiller directed, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Just longboarding down an Icelandic slope or whatever.
Next, we would like to thank our patrons. If you would like to become a patron, head over to patreon.com/Carscast. As you can tell, we have some cool benefits like early access to some hats, wink wink, as well as bonus episodes and Q&As and shout-outs at the end of every episode, which we are about to do, and some GeoGuessr Let's Plays. And who knows, that could really drive a bunch of new people to the Patreon.
Oh yeah, that's going to be number one.
It's going to crash the
driver.
servers.
Patreon's going to contact us, say, well, you got to stop doing those GeoGuessr sessions. It's crashing.
It's overwhelming. Okay, we'd like to thank Jeff, watch me do the patrons with my eyes closed. Allison Grace, Annabelle Falk. That's as far as I could get. Bex, Blake Root, Boat, Brandon Yu, Brock Schultz, Cameron, Mason McCurdy, Camilla, Drew Jackson, Eden, Grant Gow, Holly Edwards, Iron Tuss 93, Isabel, Iva, Jacob Colness, Jeff, shut up. John Van Hout, Joshua Krizwicki, Josie Eiler, Katie T, Kevin Turner, Kiana, Liqui, Liv Rob, Lucian Vicina, Lucas Ruther, Luke Vineyard, Vineyard, Maddie Robertson, Martin Deff, Marilee Borslow, Meemaw, Michael Decker, Moses Ox, Monroe Page, Pablo Patel, Parks, Ready Steady Ernie, Robert Burke, Sam Farr, Sophia Arieta, Supercalifragilistic Expialidocious, Smitty Werbin, Jagerman Jensen, Taylor Hardy, 10 Billion, Toad Pimp, Vegard Strom, Vera S, and Yoki Sasquatch, and Yusuf A. We have 2 pages now, which is exciting. So thank you, everybody.
Wow.
Thank you, Jeff.
No, thanks for the support.
Jeff Shut Up.
Especially Jeff Shut Up.
Yeah, their profile picture is a picture of you with a cube, by the way. That's yeah. So they're a hardcore Jeff fan. Thanks, guys. Lastly, we want to announce the next movie, which we haven't talked about actually. Have we?
Yeah. I don't think we have.
Let me pitch you this, Jeff.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch this? Have you heard of In the Mood for Love?
No.
Okay. It's pretty critically acclaimed. It's like a classic, I think, and I've never seen it, and it could be fun to talk about. And I think it's on HBO Max.
Okay.
But if you have any other suggestions, I'm open to them.
Right now I don't, so I think that's what we're rolling with.
All right. We're rolling with In the Mood. We're watching In the Mood for Love, directed by Wong Kar-wai, next week.
What if I was like, we should watch Inconvenient Truth? That Al Gore climate change documentary.
I'm like, yeah, we can do that.
And we're like, yeah, you saw at the 32-minute mark the graph he posted. That's big. I want to do a deep dive into that.
Deep dive into the graph.
You see how that one arrow is going up? That's bad.
Cool. Well, Jeff, do you have anything else to say?
Catch you on the flip side.
Get you on the flip side.
Flip side.